You may have seen one and not even known it if you've been to Myers in Bowling Green. It's one of Tesla's hundreds of free supercharger stations located just off major interstates all over the country.
In Bowling Green, it's Meijer, so you don't have a lot of variety, but you do have Wi-Fi access, a 24-hour grocery store. We have access to get food and coffee and that sort of a restroom.
Johnny Anderson owns a four-wheel drive 2017 Tesla Model S90. He says a trip may require a bit more planning to make sure you're near a charging station when you need one, but the computer in his Tesla will tell him where the charging stations are before he even leaves home. In fact, John says it was the technology of the car that intrigued him.
In certain conditions, you can set it on autopilot, and if you wouldn't do it except for show, but you could take your hands off the wheel and your feet off the gas and brake pedals, and it would control, with traffic, it would control how close you're falling behind a car, and yes, it'll drive itself.
John says his original perception of electric cars was that they were slow, unattractive, and restrictive, but he was wrong.
They're definitely not slow. The acceleration on my car is better than most gasoline engines because of the torque. It's immediate. There's no combustion engine to worry about kicking in.
John's 2017 Model S90D can go from 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds. It has a range of almost 300 miles on a full charge.
There's no oil. There's no gas. It's all electric, and really the maintenance to it, there's no maintenance to it that I can do other than add windshield wiper fluid to the reservoir.
And John says his electric bill hardly went up at all from plugging his car in overnight.
The only really change we had to make to the home was to add a 220 or 240 volt outlet with a 50 amp breaker that would charge it fast enough to make sense.
So it's attractive, inexpensive to charge, and loaded with technology. So what's the downside? It doesn't come cheap.
If you're comparing a BMW 6 Series to a Tesla, pretty equivalent. It's an upper-end car.
John has owned two Teslas, both around $95,000 each, but he says Tesla is coming out with a more mid-priced model.
They're just now rolling out a Model 3, which is targeted at about $35,000 to $39,000 car. So it's the first full production vehicle they've made targeted at a lower price point.
And John believes electric cars are here to stay.
I believe electric cars are going to go, it's going to be crazy over the next 5 years.
John says General Motors is adding more electric cars to its fleet, and he says Volvo is expected to go to all electric cars by the year 2020 or 2025.